I want to inform you of something called From PsyOps to Mind Wars, The Path to Psychological Victory. This was a military intelligence operation that was written in the 70s and came to fruition in the late 70s, early 80s. What this was using the truth as a weapon. This paper discusses, and this is just a relative, it's like an infant in terms of this spectrum that I'm discussing, but it's a good place to start for anybody. It discusses how PsyOps was able to be used outside of the country, but inside the country it was prohibited by Congress, so they needed to have something else. PsyOps was the intentional distortion of lies and known lies, and to represent it as truth as a form of manipulation and to coerce the demographic being subjected to it. With this paper, they discuss how, and remember, the psychological victory is over us, because this paper is discussing the American people. It is discussing how truth can be the new form of PSYOP, and how all of us would be engaged in a mind war we know nothing about. Now remember, this is the military themselves stating this, and you know how what will be stated, oftentimes it goes much, much deeper than what is stated. But nevertheless, it was about using truth in such a way, because they define truth as what can be true, what could potentially become the truth, how truth could be potentially seen, etc. But it's about the use of truth as a way to infiltrate the individual's mind and place them in a battlefield they know nothing about.
I used to follow Fiona Barnett, and I heard people say that she was a government plant with the large upper body and straight legs. Those two reporters look suspicious. I'm not interested in the drama between Fiona and Isaac. The goal of this video is to expose these alleged whistleblowers, these insiders with inside information. In 2019, the Phoenix Enigma posted this: "To Fiona and gang, this ends now. Tell your powers that be that they would be wise to pull the plug on this operation immediately. To translate, shut down your website, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube accounts, and halt this operation. If your army goes dark and resurfaces, that would not be wise. You will no longer take advantage of human beings, take away focus from true victims, send your army of shills to attack people with false allegations in order to destroy and divide this country, attempt to diminish solid journalists and those advocating to stop child sex trafficking and abuse, or request money be sent to those working for you. To journalists, reporters, and YouTubers, many of you have regurgitated her stories, written at length about her experiences, and produced countless videos and interviews. To you, I say this: do not fret. Use the information in this document to create new material telling the truth and exposing this operation for what it is." Remember, she not only hijacked a dead couple, she hijacked other people's stories. Some of these experiences are real to the victims that suffered through them, while others have been gravely exaggerated by Fiona Barnett. So I'm going to have to do that because I had mirrored some of her work before. Indisputable evidence Fiona Barnett is an operation. Some think she is being used to either knowingly or unknowingly flush out other SRA survivors in order to have them silenced or killed. Others think she has been allowed to live by her abusers and she is still being managed by handlers and utilized in deep state ops. Whatever the case, it's apparent that Isaac believed her at one point and flew to Australia to meet with her. Allegedly, she went missing or disappeared. I think this was a tactic. When Isaac came to Australia, he stayed with Fiona and allegedly turned into a nightmare. Not long after, they said Isaac jumped from a bridge. I don't believe that. You forget he was an actor. Fiona made a statement to ITNJ. Let's look at the symbols. It's a pinecone and infinity. The pinecone connects to the Vatican, who are Babylonian/Sumerian priests. The infinity connects to Ishtar, whose symbol is 8. Inside the infinity are love hearts. This is a reference to Tammuz, aka Cupid, her husband. The two peacocks with a flower in the center. At the Vatican, there are two peacocks either side the pinecone. Peacocks are associated with Venus and Jupiter. There's 8 points on the flower, the 8-pointed star of Ishtar, so Fiona spoke to a Vatican-owned organization. She's the only person I heard address the TG agenda and transgendering in the womb. It's likely this was done to her. She often wore pink, and I said the girl wears blue, the man wears pink, red, or purple. She has a wide neck, large shoulders, and straight legs, but the digit ratio is female. This is Fiona in 2013 looking very masculine. It looks like they photoshopped a door here to hide the large shoulders and lack of female hips. Bob Brown is an Australian politician. I find it odd that Bob looks similar to Fiona's husband. They have the same teeth, the same chin. Fiona's daughter has a long neck and long arms. In the documentary, she has a deep voice, but it sounds like she's trying to talk like a female. And her name is Cassia. At least I hope it's Cassia, not Kasha. Allegedly, this is Fiona's grandmother, Helena Holozak. Huge shoulders, long arms, long ring finger, large hands, skinny ankles. This looks edited. They probably added long hair like they do with celebrity child pictures. When you take it off, you can see the male, the wide neck. Now look at this. Fiona's husband and the grandmother look related. They have the exact same chin and nose. This is from her Candy Girl documentary, and it wasn't that long ago, so people have up-to-date technology and this is the worst quality. So either they try to make it look legitimate, like we don't have any funds, or these are amateur actors. If you watch that film, pay attention, you'll see her doing Masonic hand signs. The groove inside the ear is the same. His ears stick out, but it looks like they pinned hers to the head. The left eye in particular is the same. Same chin, same lips. Do you see the lips? It has to be a faked photo. Just look at that for a while longer and you'll see it. It's like they took a picture of John and turned him into Helena. Sunday told me about this Facebook group. Thank you, Sunday. I forgot what the group is called, but they show how actors are really royalty. How odd that Lisanne Kelly resembles Fiona, who's on the far right. She admitted that her family are one of the lesser known Illuminati bloodlines, so apparently there's over 100 and not just 13. Her mother looks like Lisanne older, especially the shape of the nostrils and the head. So I don't believe the story that her mother was just clueless and didn't know about it. In July 2020, the Phoenix Enigma interviewed Isaac Cappy's mum and dad. As someone told me in comments, this is Fiona and Isaac in Prosthetics. Of course, their visual is blurry. Wendy has the same hair length, the wide forehead, the mouth that turns down at the side. Isaac always sat on the left and Fee always sat on the right. The V with wings on the back wall is Venus. Wendy is very concerned about verifying her identity. Listen to what she says and then watch her body language.
The reason why I asked Elahai to be here to verify my identity is, one, he knows me. He can validate I am who I am.
I would be Australia's most recognised child abuse whistleblower for a reason.
You know, I want to start by, I think I've asked...
which was part of a greater crime syndicate.
And that I have had contact with for a very long time. I want to say a few words about the people here. I have been in contact with Alicia since May 30th, 2019.
The people involved in this elite pedophile ring included high-ranking politicians, police and judiciary. I reported to New South Wales Police in 2008. I reported to the Royal Commission in 2012.
We later met her in California in August of 2019, a few months later. Now with Corey, I first spoke with Corey on July 10th, almost 2 months after Isaac died.
Wendy is specific about dates and times, and so is Fiona. Fiona has a habit of touching the side of her neck. Then you see Wendy do the same movement. It's as if she caught herself doing it. Fiona says that Elahi and Isaac Hatby were all together on it. And then she said that Elahi is an intelligence agent.
And when I reached out to you, I knew I could count on you. You know, I really did.
She knows she could count on a fellow actor and Mason. So the whole story that she didn't like Elahi and had a problem with Isaac, and suddenly the mother knows about Isaac Happy, but this was never discussed, I don't believe it. His moniker is Elahi and is engaged to El. El is a Canaanite god. His wife is Asherah, aka Ishtar. I found pictures of Isaac's Instagram. Blue and purple, eagles, magicians, Masonic compass and square. All the pictures are inverted, which is a clue. This person says, "What's the deal with the pentagram on this one?" And Isaac said, "Is it inverted?" No. Plus, read the words. This is the triumph of 5D over 4D magic. It's a bit esoteric for most. And then Nastia says, "Controlled opposition, disgusting, I see you." So there were at least some people that knew that this was all fake. Glenn shows art that Isaac made. He's meant to be elderly, but his arms and legs look younger. He walks with his elbows stuck out. And I saw Isaac in a D-grade movie. You see how he walks with his elbows stuck out? Isaac's mum and dad had the interview July 2020. In September 2020, Fiona deleted everything on her website and left a Bible quote. The comments to that video are disabled, and I think people sussed that it's Fee and Isaac. But now she's active on her website again. On my second channel, I was asked if they got to her. I think she was one of them the whole time. She admits to murdering the previous Grand Dame, which makes her the current Coven priestess. She went around doing public interviews and never got silenced. That goes back to what he said, using truth as a weapon. Freeman touted this one, which is why I think it's sus. Huge square jaw with the diamonds in the back, high cheekbones, wide neck. Kathleen Sullivan was interviewed in 2000. I am the woman Bryce Taylor mentioned as also having been lied to and more by Mark Phillips. She asked me about 4 years ago to support her in physically confronting Mark at a conference where he and David Icke and Kathy were all presenting together. I called Icke's people a week before that conference to let him know what Mark had done to me and Bryce, letting Icke know that Mark was a fraud and very dangerous. Icke never acknowledged my information. The night before the conference started, Bryce dropped out of the picture after informing me that Jesus told her it was not her time to confront Mark, which left me alone to do so. Being a Christian, I was a bit confused about that. If Jesus told her to go and ask me to support her in confronting Mark, then why would Jesus change his mind and tell her not to go? The second day of the conference, I tried to talk to David alone in the hallway. He looked quite sheepish, clearly recognizing who I was. It bugged me. He looked so darn familiar from somewhere in my covert past. He was clearly quite chummy with Mark and Kathy during his entire conference, and I blanched and became physically ill at one point when Kathy played gently with David's hair and he looked up at her face, beaming like a lover. So now I'm quite amused that Icke, who blatantly enforces lizardmen screen memories and high-level mind control survivors' minds to discredit them to the public and in court, is suddenly helping to expose Mark. I've seen this behavior before. In this instance, former business partners Gunderson, Icke, Phillips, and Boat Kirby suddenly turn on one of their own after it's obvious that their partners are not going to behave and be quiet about his activities. This behavior on the part of Mark's friends' partners is not dissimilar to when children go to the police and media about a group of criminal cultists who have been ritually traumatizing and raping them for years. The cultists throw out one of their people for the police and legal system to make an open fuss over, slap in prison, and the others continue doing their dirty work just like before, never being legally named. In the mind control survivor community, I've seen this tactic taken one step further. By helping to publicly out their partner after having been tight with them for many years, it makes other perps look like they are heroes. Then the outed perps' victims, example Bryce, go running to them for protection and information, and the survivors' external control and victimization continues. The other thing I've noticed is how many perps are popping up in the survivor community, mostly, but not all males, as investigators and heroes. They do the talk circuits in books, controlling and endorsing usually one survivor like a trained SEAL, example Mark Phillips and Kathy O'Brien, who in turn endorses them. But the pattern I've seen repeatedly is that these people are usually recycled programmers. They come back into our lives daring to hope that we will not remember them. And of course, if they are back in our lives, we will not feel safe enough to be able to consciously remember them. Then they get back into our heads very quickly and easily, drain us dry of all our memories and proofs and money, and then use us, as Mark did Kathy, as lures to draw other mind control survivors that they can drain and control likewise. This is why survivors in the know keep telling other survivors how absolutely crucial it is for them to be their own heroes, their own investigators. To depend on anyone else to tell us what to do or think or believe is to open ourselves to another controller and more misery and danger. I've already posted on the internet about my experiences with Mark and Kathy. This man is dangerous and must be avoided by mind control survivors at all costs. I'm sure abuse happened to this person, but she's a psyop. Compared to an open MTF, the bone structure is the same. Look at this neck. Square jaw, prominent trachea, 3 heads could fit these shoulders. Allegedly, her daughter Kelly and ex-husband looks like a little boy, and the male has a female skull. Hand signs with pyramids. Mark has the oval skull, small hands, collarbones, neck, Masonic hand gestures. Same here, you know what she is. Wide neck. And if she was healed from her programming, why does she still look traumatized? Tall forehead, large hand. Does this really look like an older woman to you? Large jaw, trachea is male, Mark doing hand signs, oval face, Masonic hands. The Masons are transformers, it's what they practice. His hand is edited, fingers are discolored to the rest of the hand. Short arms Mark has, Kathy bending the leg. That's his daughter doing the trans hand sign. Bryce Taylor is another fake whistleblower. That neck, huge brow bone, sharp cheekbones, rhinoplasty, large teeth. Compared to an MTF, the cheekbones, jaw, and neck is the same. Forehead, brow ridge, neck. Went to this function and named her abuser wearing black and white stripes. Maybe she's a Tim Burton fan, I don't know. A woman analyzed her body language and doesn't believe Bryce's story. Arizona Wilder, yet another shill. Spoke to David Icke and I found her behavior odd. In 2010, I found this site where someone noted Arizona looked and sounded strikingly similar to Patsy Ramsey. In David Icke, Revelations of a Mother Goddess and Satanic Rituals, David Icke interviews a woman claiming to have been a victim of these aliens and their hybrid society. Maybe you notice she looks very familiar. I certainly did. And they even implicate their fraud, and I believe it's intentional. They mentioned Patsy Ramsey and how the murdered daughter fell victim to one of these rituals. My friends, that woman he's interviewing is Patsy Ramsey. Compare enough photos of Patsy Ramsey when she is thin, which are nearly impossible to find, to no surprise. After enough picture caps, photo processing and comparison, I believe it's the same woman, only in the Icke video she's completely stripped of the extra weight gain to portray the identity of Patsy. Why? Because I think the rich elite spy on us and perform sociological experiments. I believe these public organizations such as the Scientologists are nothing more than a public face for the secret snob society, which means the Freemasons. I noticed the hair is identical. They don't seem to change that. She apparently became a nurse very quickly, and in this thread, a woman who was a nurse said it's not possible for Arizona to advance to that level without having gone through the training. The name is fake anyway. Patsy is a scapegoat. Ramsey is similar to Ramses. Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, allegedly murdered women in the 1970s. A UK hacker discovers in the Naval Space Command computers evidence of a secret space program. What McKinnon found when hacking into the systems of US Naval Space Command says he found a log that listed non-terrestrial officers on Navy fleet to fleet transfers, as well as the names of ships being in the USSS LeMay and the USSS Hillenkoetter. The reason I included this is I think Richard Ramirez is now playing the role of Gary McKinnon. The weird eye is likely Photoshop. Look at the cheekbones and the jaw. He's older now and most people forgot about him. The hair is the same, the eyes, nose and mouth. It's easy to fool people because most people are not perceptive, especially this profile picture. The profile is identical. Can't you see it's the same person but older? They change a few things here and there. Do you remember what John said?
My name is Jonna Mendez, and I was chief of disguise at the CIA. What we do is always additive. We can make you taller, we can make you heavier, we can make you older. We can't go the other direction.
I've also heard that this is an FTM. It could be, I'm not looking into that right now. You've always had this curly hair and jutting cheekbones. I'm glad they showed him smiling because this is the same teeth. Maybe editing on the right teeth, but it's the same. I noticed discoloring on the face. It doesn't match the light on the cheekbone, probably where they were careless with the face powder. Maybe they forgot to paint makeup on the brow bone up there. It looks lighter than the rest of the face. Apparently Ricky was born February 29th, 1960. How odd that Gary McKinnon was born February 10th, 1966. They were both born in February in the 60s. Come on, this is fake. And this doesn't include these YouTube truthers and whistleblowers. I was going to put it in here, but it's already getting too long. I found considerable information tied to these people proving that they are agents and shills, and I'm doing a video on them. When they show Masonic hand signs, they're not on the level. Gary is ginger, but if you put brown hair, a tan, and brown eyes, do you see what I see? If I compare them, can you see it now? Nose is the same, eyebrows. Looks like they made Gary's eyes almond shaped. Identical jawline. We can go the other way and give Ricky ginger hair. The lips are augmented, similar to the MTFs get the lips plumped. It appears he had a nose job before this one. Definitely looks like contacts because the eyes are flat. Give him white skin, blue eyes, and ginger hair. Tell me that's not identical. The jaw is the same. The nose, the chin, and the jaw tells me this is the same person. Oh, but Ricky died recently. No, it's just a recycled actor. Julia the shill doing Masonic thumbs up. No jaw. The hourglass connects to Ishtar. No brow bone. No square jaw. I guess they secretly had the hair and makeup team coming in from under the floor. Round baby face, small eyes. Men are not pretty in makeup. She looks too cute. Tiny chin, little face compared to the man. Photoshopped forehead, round face. Not the square jaw of a man, passive eyes, soft skin, narrow neck. Purple tie, short arms that angle away from the body. Wide female hips. This is the person younger. I repeat, look at the open FTMs and you see the same bone structure and facial features. No jaw, no brow bone. FTM Freemason actor happily deceiving people for her coven.